Hi, so thanks to Kevin for the intro. I'm Linda Fox, Senior Reporter, PhocusWire, and I'm delighted to be joined by Hannah Bennett. She's Head of Travel Brand Partnerships for TikTok. Hi, Hannah. Really good of you to join us here. So let's just start here. Generally, how are brands from across all sectors, would you say, using the platform?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. It's lovely to be here, talking about travel as well, which is fantastic. So a number of different ways brands are using TikTok. We could really categorize them in, I guess, three different like overarching ways. So we have organic. So brands can set up their own accounts on the platform and start posting. There's also the paid media opportunity. So if brands want to run advertising on the platform, and then some brands are doing a mixture of the two. So they have an organic strategy and they're also working on kind of a paid advertising strategy as well. And with paid, you're able to target your specific audience, achieve different objectives. So it gives you a bit more flexibility on kind of your messaging and who you're reaching.
So would you say that there's any kind of particular sector that stands out for kind of doing, brilliantly so far? I don't know, logistics and haulage, for example, are they brilliant on TikTok?
Well, we say any brand can really show up on TikTok. I should have thought of some kind of specific examples, but I know we've got like not a polyfiller, but a brand that like a building brand that produces some really great content on TikTok. But everyone can really kind of show up and put a little TikTok spin, I would say, on their content. In the UK today, again, I don't know how many people kind of are active on the on TikTok at the moment, personally, or their brands, but MasterCard is kind of the first ad you'll see on the platform. Again, I'm talking from a very kind of UK specific gaze, but we're running what we call a hashtag challenge for the Body Shop. We ran Subway earlier this week. Subway has a campaign live at the moment. So there's a huge range of brands showing up on the platform.
Okay, so how receptive would you say that users are generally to that kind of branded content?
So I would say our users, our community are really leaned in and they're really engaged when it comes to organic or paid. Thinking of a couple of case studies that you'll be able to find on our website. From the travel sector specifically, we have Switzerland tourism. So if you were to go and kind of have a little deeper dive into one of their case studies on the platform, they're seeing a 20% engagement rate for that campaign. Lastminute.com, we're seeing an 18% engagement rate for the campaign that you can read a little bit more about on our website. So definitely, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say in terms of kind of engagement numbers, engagement metrics, you're probably not going to see anything kind of around those numbers except for on TikTok right now.
Okay, that sounds about right. So if we drive to travel now, just because you mentioned those particular case studies, how are travel brands specifically engaging with the platform?
So within kind of the travel umbrella, I would say airlines are really showing up on TikTok. A couple of kind of accounts to call out. Ryanair, who are kind of a budget airline based in Ireland. For those of you that don't know, they now have 500,000 followers on their TikTok account and they're jumping on trends. They're really understanding the platform. Virgin Atlantic, obviously on the more premium end of the airline scale, they started their own TikTok account last month and they're already getting some really great traction. They have some really fantastic content on the platform already. Outside of my kind of UK island bubble, we have United Airlines in the US, we have Alaska. There's some really great content on the platform. Expedia has an account as well, kind of outside of that airline gaze. But I think of all the kind of travel, I guess, subsectors, airlines are really kind of leading the way. And I think they've kind of understood that now is the time to kind of inspire and start that conversation, even though I guess the short term, travel in the short term is still a little bit unknown, but they're kind of already out there. They're having that conversation, they're engaging with the kind of that leaned in TikTok community.
And are these big travel brands, are they doing the kind of mixed, organic plus kind of sponsored, or is it more dipping the toe in of organic, or what are they doing?
So a bit of both, to be honest. So almost in a way, the paid aspect, because we have quite a lot of flexibility on kind of how you can show up around paid advertising, there are no minimum spends. You can test and learn with different creatives. That almost requires fewer resources than building a whole organic strategy on the platform. I think when it comes to organic, can almost be a little bit overwhelming. Like, we understand we're a really new platform, and the way you might show up on TikTok is different to how you've got your strategies on the more traditional platforms. So it can take a little bit of getting used to, and almost kind of dedicating a smaller resource to a small paid media buy to kind of get an understanding of how people are interacting with your content can be a really great place to start for brands, versus kind of building out a whole organic strategy straight off the bat. So it is really kind of a mix of the two.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of what resonates, travel is always seen as the sort of ultimate engaging kind of content, beaches and seas and mountains, or whatever floats your boat, really. But are there things that travel brands need to to think about in terms of what resonates most? Is it short? Is it series of clips? Is it music? Is it what are the things that they should be thinking about?
Yeah, really great question. And I think we talk about at TikTok of be authentic, show up in kind of native ways, but like, what does that mean? And I think one really great thing about TikTok is that you don't need a load of resources in terms of money. You don't need high production costs when you're creating your content, which is great. That's a win, right? But on the flip side, I understand, again, back to the fact we are a new platform, it can be like a whole different strategy to what you have on those other platforms. So I would say to brands, to users, to anyone kind of watching and listening here who wants to think about TikTok to think about a potential TikTok strategy going forward, if you can, download the app if you haven't already, spend a bit of time on the platform and start to understand what sort of content resonates with you as a user. What sort of content are you getting served on the platform? Because what's really important is that kind of core of TikTok, we call it our For You feed. That's powered by a content graph versus a social graph. So we're not a traditional kind of social platform in that you don't necessarily go to TikTok to follow your friends. It's about consuming that content. So by understanding what content appeals to you, what resonates with you, what would make sense for your brand to kind of jump on board, that's kind of the first stage to understanding, I guess, what's authentic to TikTok, what could be authentic to your brand. Thinking of, and you mentioned sound, Linda, so sound is key to TikTok. So TikTok is a completely sound on platform. So what you can do as a brand is kind of expansive. Everyone is watching TikTok with the sound on. You're not able to dual screen. So providing you have kind of engaging content, you're going to catch the user's attention. And like back to the Virgin Atlantic example, if you have a look at kind of the posts that they've put out on TikTok recently, they jumped on kind of a bit of a trend on the platform, which is a voiceover where someone says, everyone has that one kind of place in their house that's special or different. And you see it a lot with people going around gorgeous mansions or places they're staying and showing you that kind of secret cinema room or their walk-in wardrobe, for example. But Virgin have taken it onto the airplane, and it's kind of where the cabin crew sleep. So they've obviously seen that and they thought, this is perfect, right? No one's done that before. Let's take it onto a Virgin plane and have a play around with it in that way. And also kind of Ryanair, you'll see it won't be for everyone. It won't be for every brand. Like, they can really embrace the platform a bit differently to maybe kind of higher end airlines or other kind of travel and hospitality brands, but they use effects, they use different sounds and different musics that really work for them. But it's about kind of, I guess, finding your niche as a brand on TikTok.
So, you talked about authenticity there, and authenticity and kind of the voice of a brand is, super important with travel. But, I can see how, say, a Virgin Atlantic might be able to kind of jump on a piece of content and kind of give it their own spin. But what happens, for example, if, when a brand is not seen to be being authentic by the community? How much of a backlash can there be? And, what should they do? What should they be looking out for?
So I don't know about a backlash. I can't think of any examples of brands getting called out. I think it's about, I guess, holding your hands up almost and saying, oh, we did that wrong. And I think I've seen brands definitely do that and kind of engaging with the users and interacting with the comments, and thinking of kind of NGOs as well. I can think of one example. I think it's the International Federation of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent. there's a comment that someone makes, because I think one of their videos is about someone transitioning into their uniform, and someone commented and said, well, what like good work do you actually do? Like, obviously you're having fun on TikTok. And then they were able to respond to that comment with a video, and TikTok lets you do that. So rather than just commenting with a reply like on text, you can reply with a video. And really kind of show that user what you're doing. And United as well is great, not in terms of them having, I guess, not been authentic, but people have definitely commented and said, why don't you do this with your video, or show us that? And they have embraced that, and they've responded and really had that conversation with the users and with the community. And I think it's kind of about that, and leaning in and understanding what works for your brand on quite a new platform that is TikTok.
And does TikTok kind of, advise brands on all of this? And, I'm a travel brand, I want to use the platform for marketing, and I want to, perhaps I do want to put a small budget against it, or perhaps I just want to dabble with organic. Are you kind of giving them some tips and advice on how to do all this?
Yes, so there is definitely kind of different levels of support depending on what you're after. So we have a TikTok for Business website that I'm sure we can kind of provide a link for if you don't have it already. And within that platform, there's lots of resources. That's where you'll find all those case studies. You can filter by market, you can filter by industry, and see what kind of other brands are doing. There's also a bit of an overview there about products and exactly how you can show up in with paid media as well. And there's some thought starters around creative ideas and concepts. So that's definitely kind of a good place to start. If you're looking to run paid within that site, you can contact TikTok directly and talk to a rep within your market. And you can also sign up for an ads account. I would recommend kind of, if you're a smaller brand, you can sign up directly within that site, or you can contact TikTok if you're looking to kind of work with a kind of a TikTok representative as well. So there's a few different options, but back to the whole have a go, like download the app, get an understanding of what content is appearing for you. And I think that will give you a good idea of if and how you might want to show up on the platform. I think things change so quickly on TikTok. There's lots of trends. There's lots of different ways you can approach it. And I think kind of getting an understanding of exactly what the platform has to offer, that you can't really do that without experiencing the app yourself on your phone.
And I mean, how much can you say about, what brands could expect to pay for a campaign, without kind of anything too commercially sensitive, but, can you just give us an idea of the sorts of commercial models and what you might be kind of paying? Yeah,
great question. So a complete range in terms of that ads
inevitably.
Yes. So that ads platform that I mentioned is essentially an auction platform. And I don't know if anyone on the call is kind of familiar with managing campaigns themselves. They might work with agencies who do that for them. That platform puts all the control in your hands. So there's no kind of minimum spends. We can recommend kind of small spends to start if you're testing for certain objectives. But essentially, there's no kind of minimum spend to get started on the platform. So you can really play around with different creatives, different objectives to achieve kind of whatever you're, I guess, looking to get from TikTok. And then on kind of the other end of the scale, we have what we call kind of managed service products. So if you're looking to do kind of one-day sponsorships of TikTok, or I guess more content-led products. So if any of you are more familiar with TikTok, you might have seen things like hashtag challenges or branded effects. And they're those really customizable products that we will work really closely with you to make sure we're getting it right for TikTok, and we're also getting it right for your brand. And that's where we're encouraging users to participate and create content for your brand for the challenge that you're setting. And those sort of products come with a very fixed price. And with that, it varies very much by market. So definitely, and I think we've got kind of a whole range of different markets on the phone. I'd definitely reach out via the TikTok for Business website if you want to kind of get a look at an actual rate card. But as I said, it kind of the scale, if you're looking for that huge reach, that huge engagement potential, then those kind of managed service products might be for you. But if you're looking to kind of test and learn with smaller budgets at the beginning, especially that might be obviously more relevant for travel brands right now, then essentially you can really have a play around with that ads platform.
And is there a kind of a line between, being commercial on Twitter and, excuse me, on TikTok. And is that something that TikTok would jump in and kind of police, or would the users police it, or how would that actually work?
So do you mean as in kind of making content really branded?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good question.
Commercial.
No, yeah, so I would say it's such a fine balance, because we talk about being authentic. And I think one of our many kind of catchphrases at TikTok is to stand out. Let me get this right. To stand out is all about fitting in first. So it's about understanding what works on your platform, on the platform for your brand, by kind of downloading the app and having a little bit of a play around. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, I know if you're investing budget in advertising, you want your logo to appear potentially, right? You want that brand association. And I think the fact that our users are very leaned in, it's not that we're saying don't include your logo, don't include a branding messaging, because we now are able to kind of achieve booking goals, reservation goals, lead generation goals. So it really, it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence, but it very much depends on your objectives. If you're looking to build kind of general awareness and then bring traffic to your website, it might be about jumping on challenges. It might be kind of having that authentic gaze to your content. And then ultimately, if you're driving people down the funnel and you want them to take up an offer like a $50 off or whatever that is, you are going to need to get some branding out there. But I think it's about building that conversation first, however you want to do that. If that's with more brand awareness advertising products, or if that's with kind of building that organic conversation. I think it's ideally a bit of a mix of both. But as a brand, you can set up that organic account. You have access to kind of most of the user functionality that you would have as a normal creator, but you're able to add a URL, a clickable URL to your profile. You're able to pin content to the top. So if you have 5 videos that you love, you can pin those to the top of your account. You also have access to analytics. So once you build your profile, you can start to understand who is engaging with your profile, and kind of drill down into that, which might also help you, educate you for when you're running paid, because you know kind of what sort of audience are already leaned in on TikTok for your brand specifically.
Okay, just want to get a couple of final points in here. There's the perception that TikTok is sort of a fairly narrow age kind of range. Is that a myth?
Yes. So great question, though. I think that's always a preconception almost. So we are just over 2 years old now. And 2 years ago, yes, Gen Z, young millennials were the first people to jump on board on TikTok. But now we have over 100 million active users in the US, 100 million in Europe. And with that huge exponential growth over the last couple of years, we have diversified, both in terms of age, but in terms of background of the audience, interest of the audience. And it's something we're really proactive around kind of developing. We want a diverse audience from all kind of walks of life. And a couple of things, focuses that we've had over here in the UK and in Europe. We're sponsoring the Euros, the soccer tournament this year, which is something a little bit different for TikTok. We're sponsoring the Brits Music Festival. We're running our #Learn on TikTok initiative about kind of building educational content on TikTok. We have the A to Z of TikTok. A is for architecture, I think. B is for beauty. So just the content that we're almost encouraging and curating on TikTok ensures that everyone who comes to TikTok is going to have something to watch. And back to the idea of the fact we're a content graph, my feed will be very different to your feed, Linda, will be very different to Kevin's feed. It starts to understand what we're interested in. So if someone who's 20 is on the platform, they're able to find content that really works for them. And then if someone who's 50, they're also able to find content that really works for them. So the content is there, the audience is there.
Hannah, thank you so much. We're going to have to leave things there. I would have gone easily another few minutes there talking to you. It's been fantastic. No, not at all. Really great to have you. Hannah Bennett, Head of Travel Brand Partnerships for TikTok. Thank you again.
Thanks, Linda. Bye.